Okay, greetings everyone. I know it's been a while, but I've had life to live. I've had some things to do, a lot of things to do, as a matter of fact. Um, and to get my life situated and organized and shit. So it's been some time. I would say it's easily been over a month since the last, hey, greetings. Okay. Since the last time I did a live. But today I'm actually going to do three lives. The first one is going to be relatively short. The second one, too, will be relatively short. And then I'll do one at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And that one is going to be an actual discussion. So, right now, I'm going to be doing some readings. Um, I'm going to start doing readings pretty regularly as a part of a political education series I want to start. Um, Yes, I want to try to come to Comic-Con in San Diego. Let's talk about it. I know it's been forever. I don't know who's tuning in via Facebook. So let me do some housekeeping really quick because I'm streaming from StreamYard and I'm also streaming live on IG. So my name is Cassandra Faye Floyd. I'm also known as the Daughter of the Fates. I am the founder of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. And this is a part of the process of building the temple. So everything that I do, everything that I'm discussing is towards building the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. Some housekeeping. If you are tuning in via Facebook, for whatever reason, StreamYard does not translate users. So if you tune in from Facebook, please announce yourself so I know who it is that's tuning in from Facebook, because all it says is Facebook user, so I can't tell who it is. The other thing is, I still need YouTube subscriptions to monetize my page. I'm still I'd say about 112 subscribers short of being able to monetize my YouTube channel. So subscribe if you haven't already. If you're tuning in from some other place, from Twitch, because right now I'm streamlining through Twitch, through YouTube, through Facebook, and IG. So if you're on any of those other mediums, make sure to check out my YouTube channel, which is also Daughter of the Fates. And make sure that you subscribe to my channel, like, and share. So today, what I am going to do, because I'm going to do a live later that is actually going to be a discussion, but prior to that discussion, what I wanted to do was read something that I thought would be a good precursor to this discussion that we're going to have later. The discussion that we're going to have later, which has already been advertised, is about Black erasure. Now, I know this is a topic that people are always talking about these days, but my take on it is different. I haven't heard many people discuss it from the angle that I'm going to be discussing it. And so I want to encourage you to tune in today at 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. But the reason for this discussion is because there were a series of events that happened over the last week to me here in Los Angeles. And listen, like, I am an emotional woman, but not overly emotional. I'm not the type of person who cries very easily. It takes a lot to move me to tears. You feel me? But baby, when I tell you I was so angry this weekend, I'm not only angry, I was utterly disappointed this weekend at two in particular things that happened this weekend, and I couldn't let it go. Like, it was just on me. I've been hiking, climbing up in the mountain, and it won't leave. You understand? And so I was like, you know what? I should do it. I should do a live about this, put it out in the world, make my position clear, because LA is a fickle bitch. You understand? I love this city. But as much as I love this city, is as much as it makes me want to scream. Okay? As much as I love this city is problematic for so many reasons, more especially than anything, because of its relationship to its Black citizens. Let me tell you something about this city. So I won't go too deep right now because I'm going to reserve that for this discussion that we're having today at 1. Again, Today, I am going to be reading. Now, I majored, I don't know if I've ever mentioned this on this channel, but I majored in Africana in Birmingham, Alabama, quite a few years ago. Okay. Probably about 24 years ago. 24 years ago, I majored in African American Studies, or Africana, at the university, at UAB, University of Alabama at Birmingham. And this book was one of the required readings or textbooks, if you will, for that program. And it's called New Black Voices, right? And so there was an essay that was presented in this book that always stayed with me through my time in the African People's Socialist Party, through my time as a musician. It was so relevant. This article was published in 1969, but when I read it to you, it is so poignant and so currently relevant. So relevant. So I decided I'm going to read this essay written by Maulana Ron Karenga. Now, let me just make a disclaimer. Me reading this article, finding usefulness in this essay, does not in any way exhibit any kind of unity with the deliverer of this essay. Am I clear? I am not a follower of, a fan of, co-sign on the general overall philosophy of Maulana Ron Karenga. However, I can find that this article is extraordinarily useful, extraordinarily clear. There are some things in it that I don't agree with, but overall, I agree with this essay. I think it's excellent. I think it's worth a revisit, even an up-to-date reassessment of. But overall, this essay here was jamming. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Again, for those tuning in late, my name is Cassandra Faye Floyd, also known as Daughter of the Fates, founder of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. Okay, I am reading an essay entitled Black Art, Mute Matter Given Function and Force. Black art, like everything else in the Black community, must respond positively to the reality of revolution. It must become and remain a part of the revolutionary machinery that moves us to change quickly and creatively. We have always said and continue to say that the battle we are waging now is the battle for the minds of Black people, and that if we lose this battle, we cannot win a violent one. It becomes very important then that art plays the role it should play in Black survival and not bog itself down in the meaningless madness of the Western world wasted. In order to avoid this madness, Black artists and those who wish to be artists must accept the fact that what is needed is an aesthetic, a Black aesthetic, that is a criteria for judging the validity and or the beauty of a work of art. Woo! Right out the gate, powerful. Pursuing this further, we discover that all art can be judged on two levels, on the social level and on the artistic level. In terms of the artistic level, we will be brief in talking about this because the artistic level involves a consideration of form and feeling, two things which obviously involve more technical consideration and terminology than we have space, time, or will to develop adequately here. Let it be enough to say that the artistic consideration, although a necessary part, is not sufficient. What completes the picture is that social criteria for judging art. And it is this criteria that is the most important criteria. For all art must reflect and support the Black Revolution, and any art that does not discuss and contribute to revolution is invalid, No matter how many lines and spaces are produced in proportion and symmetry, and no matter how many sounds are boxed in or blown out and called music. Woo, child, I'm gonna be taking notes. I'm gonna tell you because let me. I won't digress. I'm just gonna read it, but I'm gonna be taking notes for our discussion today, baby. All right. Okay, continuing. All we do and create then is based on tradition and reason. That is to say, on foundation and movement. For we begin to build on traditional foundation, but it is out of movement that is experience that we complete our creation. Tradition teaches us, Leopold Senghor tells us, that all African art has at least three characteristics. That is, it is functional, collective, and committing or committed. Since this is traditionally valid, it stands to reason that we should attempt to use it as the foundation for a rational construction to meet our present day needs. And by no mere coincidence, we find that the criteria is not only valid, but inspiring. That is why we say that all Black art, irregardless of any technical requirements, must have three basic characteristics which make it revolutionary. Which make it revolutionary. In brief, it must be functional. Come on through. It must be functional, collective, and committing. It must be functional, that is useful. Useful, as we cannot accept the false doctrine of art for art's sake, baby. For in fact, there is no such thing as art for art's sake. All art reflects the value system from which it comes. God, whoop. For if the artist created only for himself and not for others, he would lock himself up somewhere and paint or write or play just for himself. But he does not do that. On the contrary, he invites us over, even insists that we come to hear him or to see his work. In a word, he expresses a need for our evaluation and or appreciation, and our evaluation cannot be a favorable one if the work of art is not first functional, that is useful. Oh my God, listen. Oh my God. So what then is the use of art? Or listen, so what then is the use of art? Our art, Black art. Black art must expose the shot. Y'all ain't ready for this article. I'm trying to tell y'all right now. I've read this article over the last 24 years. I'm telling you, at least once a year. And I always get chills. I am always moved, no matter how I evolve in my understanding of things. This piece of work here. Listen. So, what then is the use of art? Our art, Black art. Black art must expose the enemy, baby. Listen. Oh, shit. Black art must expose the enemy, praise the people, and support the revolution. Y'all ain't heard what this man just said. If it is to be considered art for us, from us, by us, it must do three things. It must expose the enemy, praise the people, and support the revolution. Woo! Listen, he went in on this piece right, Jen. You feel me? Oh my God. Woo! It must be like Leroy Jones's poems that are assassins' poems. Poems that kill and shoot guns and wrestle cops into alleys, taking their weapons and leaving them dead with tongues pulled out and sent to Ireland. It must be functional, like the poem of another revolutionary poet from us, Clyde Halisi, who described the master's words as sun genies dancing through the crowd, snatching crosses and St. Christopher's from around niggas' necks and passing the white gap legs into their minds to Simbas to be disposed of. Oh, shit. Or in terms of painting, we do not need pictures of oranges in a bowl or trees standing innocently in the midst of a wasteland. If we must paint oranges and trees, let our If we must paint oranges and trees, let our gorillas be eating those oranges for strength and using those trees for cover. We need new images, and oranges in a bowl or fat white women smiling lewdly cannot be one of those images. All material is mute until the artist gives it a message. Oh! And that message must be a message of revolution. Then we have destroyed art for art's sake, which is of no use to us anyhow, and have developed art for all our sake. Art for Mose the miner, art for Sammy the shoe shine boy, TC the truck driver, and KP the unwilling soldier. Woo! In conclusion, the real function of art is to make revolution using our own medium. The second characteristic of Black art is that it must be collective. In a word, it must be from the people and must be returned to, God damn it, it must be returned to the people in a form more beautiful and colorful than it was in real life. Child, listen, y'all ain't heard. Y'all ain't heard. Y'all ain't heard. Listen, can I get a amen, a raise the roof or something? Because y'all ain't, this is preaching that's happening right here. Listen, he said the second characteristic of Black art is that it must be collective. In a word, it must be from the people and must be returned to the people in a form more beautiful and colorful than it was in real life. For that is what art is. Everyday life given more form. Thank you. Thank you. For that is what art is. Everyday life given more form and color. And in relationship to that, the Black artist can find no better subject than Black people themselves. And the Black artist who does not choose or develop this subject will find himself unproductive. For no one is any more than the context to which he owes his own existence. Y'all have listen, y'all ain't hearing. For no one is any more than the context to which he owes his own existence. And if an artist owes his existence to the Afro-American context, then he also owes his art to that context and therefore must be held accountable to the people of that context. Whew. To say that art must be collective, however, raises four questions. Number one, the question of popularization versus elevation. 2, personality versus individuality. 3, diversity in unity. And 4, freedom to versus freedom from. Man, this is teaching I'm doing right now. The question of popularization, this is 2023. I want y'all to hear me right now. Clear your ears, stop what you're doing, and tune the fuck in, okay? The question of popularization versus elevation is an old one. What it really seeks to do is to ask and to answer the question whether or not art should be lowered to the level of the people, or the people raised to the level of the art. Or our contention is that if art is from the people and for the people, there is no question of raising people to the art or lowering the art to the people, for they are one and the same thing. As we said previously, art is everyday life given more form and color. And what one seeks to do then is to use art as a means of educating people and being educated by them so that it is a mutual exchange rather than a one-way communication, babe. Art and people must develop at the same time and for the same reason. It must move with the masses and be moved by the masses. Oh, Lord, this is so good. Oh my God. For we should not demand that our people go to school to learn to appreciate art, but that an artist go to school formally or informally to learn new and better techniques of expressing his appreciation for the people and all they represent, and his disdain for anything and everything that threatens or hinders their experience, their existence. Their existence. Then and only then can both the artist and the people move forward with a positive pace rooted to the reality of revolution. The second question raised is the question of personality versus individuality. Now, this question is one of how much the emphasis on collective art destroys the individuality of the artist. We say that individualism is a luxury that we cannot afford. Moreover, individualism is, in effect, non-existent. Oh. For since no one is any more than the context to which he owes his existence, he has no individuality, only personality. Individuality, by definition, is me in spite of everyone. And personality is me in relation to everyone. The one, a useless isolation, and the other, an important involvement. Woo! We have heard it even said that the individual is like an atom, that which can no longer be reduced, or the essence of humanity. However, aside from this being a rather strained analogy, it does not prove that a man who wants to be an individual can stand alone. For the atom itself is a part of a molecule and cannot exist without interdependence. And even then, it is at best a simple theoretical construction for the convenience of conversation. We say that there is no virtue in a false independence, but there is value in a real interdependence. The third question raised with regard to collective art is an extension of the second one, and that is, does unity preclude diversity? Our answer to that is an emphatic no. For there can be and is unity in diversity, even as there is diversity in unity. What one seeks, however, is not a standardization of every move or creation, but a framework in which one can create and avoid the European gift of trial and error. One can seek the reality of the concept of diversity and unity and diversity in listening to a tripping ensemble. In a tripping ensemble, the leader sets the pace and the others come in or go out as it pleases them. But in the end, they all come to a very dynamic and overwhelmingly harmonious conclusion. So it is with our dance. Two partners come together, the same dance, and yet they provide us with a demonstration of that which is unique to each of them. But that is not individuality. That is personality. For it is an expression of uniqueness, not isolation from, but in relation to each other and the collective experience that they both have shared. The last question is one of freedom to versus freedom from. This is really a political question or a social one, and is one that raises contradiction for the artist who rejects the social interpretation of art However, when he demands freedom to do something or freedom from the restriction that prohibits his doing something, he is asking for a social political right that he is asking for a social political right and and that, as we've said, makes art social first and aesthetic second. Art does not exist in the abstract, just like freedom does not exist in the abstract. It is not an independent living thing. It lives through us and through the meaning and message as we give it. And an artist may have any freedom to do what he wishes as long as it does not take from the freedom, as long as it does not take freedom from the people to be protected from those images. Words and sounds that are negative to their life and listen. Oh my God. Woo. Child. He said art does not exist in the abstract. Just like freedom does not exist in the abstract. It is not an independent living thing. It lives through us and through the meaning and message we give it. And an artist may have any freedom to do what he wishes as long as it does not take the freedom from the people to be protected from those images, words, and sounds that are negative to their life and development. The people give us the freedom from isolation, from isolation and alienation, and random searching for subject matter and artists. In view of this, must not ask for freedom to deny this, but on the contrary, must praise the people for this. In conclusion, the concept of collective art can best be expressed in the African proverb showing the interdependence of all by saying, one hand washes the other. The final thing that is characteristic of Black art is that it must be committing. It must commit us to revolution and to change. It must commit us to a future that is ours. In a word, it must commit us to all that is us yesterday, today, and the sunrise of tomorrow. It must tell us, like Halasi's poem, Maulana and Word Magic, that we must give up the past or be found out and exposed. As the notes of a new day come, tripping through searching each one's heart for any traces of patent place. It must commit us to the fact that the earth is ours and the fullness thereof. As Leroy Jones says, you can't steal nothing from the white man. He's already stole it. He owes you anything you want, even his life. Whoop. So Black people, take the shit you want. Take their lives if you need, but get what you want, what you need. Dance up and down the street, turn all the music up. This is commitment to the struggle, a commitment that includes the artist and the observer. We cannot let each other rest. There is so much to do, and we all know we have done so little. Art will revive us, inspire us, give us enough courage to face another disappointing day. It must not teach us resignation, for all our art must contribute to revolutionary change, and if it does not, it is invalid. Therefore, we say the blues are invalid. Woo! God damn. Listen. The blues are invalid, for they teach us resignation. In a word, acceptance of reality. And we have come to change reality. This motherfucker went in. Okay? We will not submit to the resignation of our fathers who lost their money, their women, and their lives, and sat around wondering what did they do to be so black and blue. We will say again, with brother Leroy, we are lovers and sons of lovers and warriors and the sons of warriors. Therefore, we will love and unwillingly though necessarily make war, revolutionary war. We will not cry for those things that are gone, but find meaning in those things that remain with us. Perhaps people people will object violently to the idea that the blues are invalid, but one should understand that they are not invalid historically. They will always represent a very beautiful musical, psychological achievement of our people. But today, they are not functional because they do not commit us to the struggle of today and tomorrow, but keep us in the past. And whatever we do, we cannot remain in the past, for we have too much at stake in the present, and we find our future much too much rewarding to be rejected. Let our art remind us of our distaste for the enemy, our love for each other, and our commitment to the revolutionary struggle that will be fought with the rhythmic reality of a permanent revolution. That, my dears, is all. So we will discuss later, because now I'm about to turn this off and save it as it is, because right now, this very moment, I'm about to do another live on another piece that we will be discussing later. So thank you so much for tuning in. This is Cassandra Faye Floyd, also known as the Daughter of the Fates, founder of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. And I will be back literally in about 1 minute to read the next piece that I'm going to read to you, which is equally powerful. See you then.